I thought rather than follow the suggested format, we'd change it, maybe.
Thanks.
And I just wonder, if we could get some themes going here that are a general interest to the audience. Does anybody have any burning questions around this whole ethical issue of the use of EHR and so on? And if we can put a few together, we can talk about those for a bit. There's one at the back.
Good afternoon, it's Paul Davis from the Commission Business Service in Greater Manchester. Not so much a question, but really perhaps a theme which we could pick up this afternoon. Touched upon the last point and around no technical systems impenetrable. Really information governance is really down to all of us as individuals, and we all come into access with data, and therefore we all have a moral duty and actually a duty as per our contracts of employment to actually use and send on that data appropriately. So that's something I'd like us to pick up this afternoon if possible.
Okay.
Yeah. From Brunel University. Actually, my concern is about the consent model. We have now the experience, the consent model in Scotland and in England. And also here in England, they changed it from actually consent, like implied consent, to now consent exactly as the Scottish system, consent to view. But still, actually, many people believe that it's still not actually ethical not to have this informed consent. And also, it's also the opt-in and opt-out, which is actually in England and Scotland, it's opt-out actually consent, while in Australia it's opt-in, which also so actually big difference between this and this. And I just would like to actually see how people really think about this. And thank you.
Others, please.
My name is Anna Berman. I'm also from Brunel. One of the things I haven't heard much at all today is talking about how the online communities, particularly from a patient point of view, is helping to shape services and even like records for that matter. How do you guys see these two things related and connected to each other, if at all?
Could you expand on that a little bit more? What is the connectivity and benefit?
For instance, if we are talking about particularly, let's say, pregnancy, right? And you have like an online community discussing about the ins and outs of pregnancies, and you have like, you can perceive how anxiety has got an effect. How do you guys plan to pick up on what the patients are saying? Sure. In terms of expectance of the level of services, and also what how they are interacting with the service itself.
Okay, yep, do that. There's a question here.
Thank you. My name is Mandy Holgate. I'm from the University of Derby. My question is regarding the digital divide and whether eHealth generally and the health records are going to already disadvantaged people.
Okay, that's a good one. Yes. Yep.
It's just a slightly different question. My name is Robert Wilson. I'm also from the University of Derby. I'm interested in what security. You said that there was no protocols so that you could draw information out of those electronic records in Scotland. One of the things I'm aware of is that, for example, if you take the privatisation of the DVLA and then the subsequent selling of that information, that database is actually quite personal, and it concerns me what guarantees that would be built in, particularly in a process in which major areas of the NHS are being privatised or are private-public links, and obviously in America a lot of it is that way. And I just wonder what elements are going to be protected and how we can assure the public that that's going to be the case.
There was another one here, yes? What did you guys have for lunch today?
Hi, Nathan Lee from UCL. Very brief question. Why am I still the nexus of information between my GP practice and my hospital?
So why are you seeing?
Why am I still the nexus of information between my GP practice and my hospital?
Okay. Okay. Yes, down here, please. Well, good questions.
Efrosina Satakis from GPID, and my question is whether we can actually set up the infrastructure from now so that the data can be easily available for research as well, but protecting the patient anonymity at the same time.
Yeah. Any more up there? Yeah. Oh.
I'm Rowena Marsden. I'm from a community health trust in Sussex. I was interested in the future of the consumer-directed healthcare. There was a web space set up, Health Space I think it was called, yeah, where people could register their details. And what's actually happened with that? Is that sort of the future of what we're expecting to see? And then therefore the patient information and sharing of it is not such an issue?
Okay. Yes, at the back there, there's one.
Hi, my name is Kaori Sasaki from Imperial College, and then just my quick question is accessibility matter in terms of ethics. Who can access to these e-records? Because a lot of people whom I met was really concerned about who can access to my eHealth data. So that's what I would like to know about your comments or your perspective, your views. Thank you.
Okay. Yep, there's one more over there. I think we're getting a bit of a theme going here.
There was a slide earlier on this morning about information silos. I'm conscious that we're seeing and hearing a lot about excellent individual implementations and perhaps not quite so much about interoperability between them. We've got things like HL7, SNOMED CT, maybe IEEE for machines to connect things together. I'd be interested to see where the panel think the gaps are in those international standards for interoperability and what can and is being done about those gaps.
I wonder if we can answer that one. Okay, I think we've got enough to be going on with. Can I just give a little bit of guidance here, and disagree with me if you think I'm wrong? I think there's a really fundamental divide that we have to split when we talk about this kind of data. There's the pure, can I say, like test results and data that you can disconnect from the patient record. And that data is very, very useful for all sorts of things, but it doesn't have to have that patient label on it. So if somebody wanted some research data, other people want to use that data for statistics or investment or whatever, and resourcing. And then there's the patient record, and those can be divided, and we actually put a lot of stuff in place in governance and governance, and there's actually automated software to remove the patient record from that data. So I think we should really maybe divide the discussion into those two parts rather than thinking about a holistic thing, if that makes things a little bit simpler. So I mean, first of all, I think maybe we should look at the whole fear factor around the patient record and the personal details of the individuals. And let's go with the first the last question about who can access it and how do we protect the patient. Would you like to start with that, as you're from a PCT?
Some great questions. I'm not sure we'll all be able to answer all of them, but we'll attempt to do some of them. So I haven't been on the panel or told you what we're doing in Redbridge, and I can give you a flavour of that and tell you how people get access to it. So in a very short description of it, in the last year we've extracted all of our GP data in its entirety from 50 practices and put it all into a data warehouse with the GP's consent, and aligned it to all of our SUS secondary care data. And also brought in all our community data into one data warehouse, and then we've done predictive modelling on it and risk stratified 250,000 people. So we have about 5 million records within one data warehouse.